And we are live. What's up, beasties? It's me, it's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to another episode of Beast Friends Forever with me. It's me, it's Triple B. We've got fun times up ahead and another author for you to be read. Just remember what your beastie said and be Beast Friends Forever with me. Woo! We have another awesome guest tonight, a return guest. Hold on, sorry, I might be a little out of breath. I was a little out of sorts. Had to go run and grab my charger. My chair keeps sinking to the ground, so I had to fight with it to get it to stay put. Okay. But anyway, I'm excited. We have an awesome guest. One of our few returnee guests who's back again because they have exciting stuff going on. A new book out. So one of my favorite guests, one of my favorite people. They're fantastic. Can't wait for you to get to know them if you haven't heard of them before. And if you were at the last time they were here, you're going to be excited to see them again and catch up on what they have going on. So before I pass out here, let's welcome on my guest for today. Who's here? That's right, it's our good friend Grace Walker.
Hi.
Welcome, Grace. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, anytime. I'm glad to have you back. I mean, I think it's been quite a bit. It was last year that we had you on the first time, so time flies.
Really does.
I know, it's wild. I think when you were on, I definitely was not at 100 yet. So it's probably been about 100 guests ago that we had you on. So it's exciting that you're back, and it's exciting the reason why because you have a new book out, which is awesome.
Thank you. I do.
You do. So when did the newest book come out? How long has it been since it came out?
So it released last week, February 17th.
Man,
So
that's
yeah,
how's the
been about
past
a week.
week How's that past week been going? Like, do you feel like your launch and everything went good? I know there's always so much that goes into that ahead of time. Do you feel like you're happy with how everything's gone so far?
Yeah, it was really great and just so much fun to see the support from the writing community and from family and friends. So it was really fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. So, just in case this is the first time anyone has, well, before I do that, let me shout out somebody in the comments and then kind of run down some pre stuff before I start asking you questions, like a rookie over here. Uh, Camille and aesthetics. Hello, thanks for being here. Is that somebody you know?
Yeah, Camille is
Oh,
she's one of my
nice.
best friends. She was one of my beta readers, and she has a lovely bookish channel as well.
Nice.
So
Oh, I get it now. I can't read. I think it's the lack of oxygen to my brain. Camille and aesthetics. I got it. I got it. Thanks for being here, Camille. That's awesome. She was first. She wins the award for best friend and first one in the comments section. For everybody that's trickling in, if you have any questions for Grace, feel free to pop them in the chat, and I'll be sure to ask her. And if you're just somebody that likes to hang out and listen, that's okay too. For everybody, whether you're here live or later on replay, we appreciate you and make sure you check the description down below. I've got Grace's website and all of her books linked down there so that you can go check them out. All right, now I can ask you about the next question. So if this is the first time somebody has found you, they searched up your book and they found this interview, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your books, about Ash, and your new book and how they fit together.
okay, so I'm Grace. I write dystopian sci-fi YA, usually with this little bit of romance. Not full romance plot, but it's definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like YA, clean romance, action, adventure, dystopian aesthetic. My latest projects have been Ash and Ash 2.0, which is a duology, following a set of characters. And then my latest novel, The Keeper, is kind of a connected standalone set in the same world that follows some side characters from Ash and Ash 2.0
Very
as the main
cool.
characters.
That is awesome. I love that. I love when authors do that because it's like familiar. It's in that world that you've come to love. And then you get to see some characters you met in the other book, but they weren't at the forefront and now they get to be. So that is really cool. When did you decide that you were going to do that for your third book in this world that you've built? Did you kind of plan this from the oh, sorry. Did you plan this from the start, or did it come to you as you were writing those characters and you thought these characters are pretty fun? I kind of want to build upon them and give them more of some page time.
It was sort of planned from the beginning. I did plan originally. Originally, it was going to be like a trilogy or even like a 5 book series. Ash was, and it was going to continue. And then I ended up changing so many plot details that I was like, no, Ash needs to be a duology, and this needs to be a separate thing because there was just too much divide for it to be a
Mm-hmm.
continuous series. So I did switch that out. But the idea for the character and the character like story has
Mm-hmm.
been planned from the beginning, but then just the way it happened was different.
Okay, got it. Very nice. All right, let me pop up. Let me shout out some more people in here. Josh already rebooked is here, who has also chatted with you before and read your books. He said Ash was so good. There we
Thank
go. Boom. And then Brian McCoppin is here. What's up, Brian? Thanks for being here. Another awesome indie author. Thanks for being here, my friend. Um, all right. So I think that's awesome. I'm excited. How has do you feel like so far a lot of like the reviews? Obviously, ahead of time, you got people involved to do ARC reviews who kind of knew your books already and everything, but I always wonder in the general readership, the people that just find your books, do you feel like they're finding your new book and reading it first, and then going to find the other books, or do you feel like they find it and then they go and they read Ash first?
I'm honestly not sure yet since I'm so early in this
Yeah,
launch.
that's true.
I think most people have probably read Ash first, simply just because it was released first, and the people that
Right.
liked it would read this one. But I have had some people read this one as their first book of mine, which is really fun and special.
Yeah.
They're very similar, but they're also kind of different.
Hmm.
Ash is a lot more like adventure, like
Hmm.
action adventure focused. And this newer book, The Keeper, is still action focused, but there's a lot more of like suspense and
Ooh,
mystery, and also a lot more on the romance side.
okay.
So they're similar, but also for if you have a preference
Different
towards
taste.
more action or more of a romance novel, you'll definitely gravitate towards one or the other.
Ah, that's so fun. Now, because I think I read in one of your posts that got me really excited for the keeper. You mentioned how you mentioned what you already talked about. Then you mentioned something about kind of like a mafia style story to it. So tell us a little bit about that because that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was kind of what started and like drove this story. Is I and Ash, the syndicate leaders of the dystopian world were a pretty big
Hmm.
driving force behind the plot, and I was like, okay, well, what if I like kind of expanded that into its own story? And also because mafia in space is just something you don't see very often, and I thought
No,
it
it's
sounded
brilliant.
cool.
Yes.
So that was kind of where the idea came, was for this character, the keeper, who's like she's a mafia boss, and she deals less in arms and things and more in information. She's a keeper of secrets or
Oh,
knowledge, lots of different things.
yeah.
So that's kind of where the idea came from. And then
Nice.
the world sort of naturally like got fleshed out and grew with starting with this character's larger than life image.
Hmm. I love it. Okay, very cool. So is the new book, is it multi POV? Is it does it focus on just one person or two or three? How did you approach that?
It's dual POV
Nice.
between the keeper and then the male main character.
That's
So it's like Ash, and that's dual POV, but then there are a lot of prominent side characters. But yeah, you only get the two POVs for this one.
nice. That's cool. I love it. I feel like that works really well where like you said, romance isn't the only thing, but when it's a main plot of the story, I feel like that dual POV, I love that when you've got a romance story. I feel like that's a really fun way to do it. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
Very
It's my
cool.
favorite too.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it. Awesome. All right. So I guess what I want to talk about, since we've, I guess, in case this is somebody's first time finding you, before we dive into your process with writing this book and how it differed from your other books and all of that stuff. I guess just real quick, share your story, however condensed of a version you want to do, or you can tell the whole thing again because it has been a year since you've been on. So even someone who watched that first one might want to hear your story again. But in case this is the first time someone finds an interview of you, just tell us your story. I think it's very impressive what you've been able to do already at such a young age. So just tell us about what got you into the writing and reading and when you decided to go for it and start writing and publishing your own books.
Okay, well, I mean, I think I started writing like short stories and like things like that for school whenever I was probably about 9. And my mom will tell you I was did not actually want to write at all up
Oh,
until like
wow.
whenever I was younger. She was like, it was like you didn't want to write things. You wanted because I it was just like I just had a thing where I
Yeah.
loved to read whenever I was younger, but I didn't want
Yeah.
to write it myself. And she was really good and she didn't push me too much, but she was like, you
Yeah.
know, it's okay to take some time and so but she never expected. She'll say, I never expected you to grow up and be a writer. Not at that age. I was like,
Right.
oh, like, you know, but then whenever I got older, you know, I started getting to like 7, 8, 9, and she was like, oh, and then I got over that because she
Yeah.
was a lovely teacher. Um, and I started writing, and she was really encouraged me to through that period. And then whenever I was 13, I was like, okay, I'm gonna actually write like a book. I'm gonna write a whole book. It's kind of a big endeavor, but I started drafting it over summer break,
Mm-hmm.
and then ended up. I kind of didn't fully expect to actually finish it. I was kind of like, I'm just gonna try and see what happens. And then I finished it, and I was like, oh, like, you know, I really liked the story, and she read it and she really liked the story. And so I was like, okay, let me just self publish it just like for kicks, you know, so that I have like a real copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only meant to be one book. But then after that, I was like, well, I feel like I can do more with these characters. And so I wrote another one for those characters. And then I ended up writing another one for those characters. And so it became a trilogy, which I totally did not expect whenever I'd started writing the first one. But I self published all 3 of them, and they're kind of like a middle grade sci fi fantasy. And that was really fun. And it was really cool. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And so after I finished that trilogy, I kind of started getting the idea for Ash. And so I
Mm-hmm.
wrote that whenever I was either 16 or 17. And then Ash 2.0, again, Ash was meant to be one book, but then it got super long. And I was like, okay, well, it's going to be a duology now. So I had that duology, and then I joined, you know, Twitter and got involved with the writing community, which was so just fun and exciting to like really branch out as an author. And so, yeah, that was kind of how it came about. And then now I just finished my latest one.
Ooh, very cool. It's so exciting. Because let everybody know, like, right, how old are you right now?
I am 19.
I mean, okay, that's it. That deserves this right here because that is just very impressive to me as somebody, and a lot of people in this community have dreams and goals of writing themselves, and to see somebody just rock it out and go after their dream and have written all these books and you're not even 20 yet, it's just amazing. And I've read Ash and it's very good, so it's not just that you're writing books and putting them out there. They're very good books. You're a very good writer, and you're just rocking it out. So I'm excited for you. I think it's pretty fantastic, and I think it's inspiring to everybody, young and old, that you should just go after your dream at any time.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. And I have to give 100% full credit to my mom for being such an amazing supporter and encourager of me from the time I was really little. So, shout out, mom. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, go mom. That is it is helpful when you have that person who has got your back and believes in you. It really does help kind of fuel you to go after that dream. So I think that's awesome. Um,
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. We got some more people popping in here. First, though, Camille said that they loved both. They love all your stuff. So that's a good friend you got there. Um, SS Fitzgerald is here, another awesome indie author. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. Uh, Tame your task list. That's what I'm talking about. Very impressive way to make your dreams a reality. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So that is fantastic. Now that you've written all of these books, do you feel like as you've gone along and written book after book after book, do you feel like your process has changed? Now, obviously, an author wants to get better with every book, so I'm sure you feel like you've kind of honed your writing every time and learned and grown. But do you feel like just your process in general has anything changed? Have you adjusted how you've done things, or have you kept kind of the similar process along the way?
Um, my process has changed definitely. I think I've probably said before, my first 3 books were, like, intensely plotted, like,
Yeah.
to a crazy degree. I plotted those books for months before I wrote them.
Hmm.
Um, in Ash, I plotted a long time, but I was a little bit less detailed in, like, the actual, like, plot summary, and I just wrote out, like, the key details and then
Hmm.
let the scenes in between kind of just filter in. And then with this most recent book has been the most different. I originally was going to make like a really detailed plan, and then I tried that and I kind of just wasn't feeling it. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just get like a very vague plan and then try and write it. And I did that and it worked, but it was definitely, there were some bumps in the road. And
Hmm.
then after I finished drafting it entirely, and I was like, oh, I'm done. And then I was like, wait, I need to redraft the entire first third of this book. And then part of the do major edits to the second part. And so I did that. I've never redrafted after I finished drafting. I have just refined my draft. So that was a big change in my process that I wasn't expecting. Definitely wasn't my favorite thing to do, but I do think I loved the result of it. So it was totally worth it.
Very nice. Okay. Now, being so young, you had school and everything that a normal teenager has to deal with for a lot of your writing, and now that you're out of high school, but you still have a lot of things going as you're starting your life. It's very busy. So, how have you managed to write so consistently? Are you somebody that sets like daily or weekly goals, or are you just someone that's just I'm going to write at this time every day, or do you write at any time of the day, no matter what? Are you okay if you miss some days writing? Like, how do you manage to stay so consistent with, I'm sure, a busy life?
Um, the consistency, it definitely, there are periods when I'm really consistent, and there are periods
Mhm.
where I kind of like, don't write as much whenever life
Yeah.
gets really busy.
Oh, yeah.
Um, to stay consistent, I set a goal. I set a small goal for every day, like just write 200 words every day. And
Nice.
usually I find when I sit down and write those 200, I end up writing more than 200. And so but that way I can complete my goal every day. So I don't ever feel like discouraged of like, oh, I missed my goal today,
Yeah.
because I can, you know, sit down after dinner and just write out a quick 200 words.
Yeah.
Or if I have time and inspiration, I can sit down and write 1,000 words. It really just depends on the day.
I love
But yeah,
that.
I think setting the small goals has been the best thing for me to keep from getting like burnt out or discouraged either. Because if I set like a really lofty goal, then I probably would get burnt out if I had to write like 2,000 words a day.
Yeah, that would be hard. That's true. And yeah, I mean that adds up, right? Even if you have a bad week, if you write 200 words a day, then you're at, over like around 1500 for that week. Like that's pretty good, solid for a busy week. So I think that's a great way to do it. And obviously that probably doesn't happen too many days where you can only get 200. I'm sure usually you can get more, but I think that's a great way to do it. I think setting, like you said, setting too high of a goal for word count, especially every day, can get you burnt out quick, and also probably would make you feel like, oh, I don't want to write because I'm not in the mood, but I got to get my 1,000 so many words. Where it's like 200, that's like just a little paragraph or whatever. Like you can
Yeah.
just knock that out, even if you're not feeling it. Like you said, it's not too hard to just find a little time to write that out. So I think that's brilliant. I think that's some good advice for any writer to do.
Well, thank you. It's
You're
definitely worked really well for me to keep me consistent, overall without getting burnt out.
Yeah, that's important. That is important. Um, like I said before, authors tend to try to get better with every book, or they feel like they're getting better. A lot of the times for a new author, there's different things that can be tough, like pacing or plotting or dialogue or action sequences and things like that. What's something that you feel like from that when you first were writing books to now that you feel like used to be hard, but now it's become a little bit easier for you, and you feel like you're doing really well with it now, where it used to be a struggle.
Hmm. I think I would say dialogue. I think whenever I first
Dialogue's
started
hard.
writing dialogue, it was hard because everything I kind of was writing everything like it was like a Hallmark movie, and so it was just it was very stylized
Yeah,
in that particular genre versus now I feel like dialogue is sometimes it can be like one of my favorite parts to write.
nice. That's
And
awesome.
I enjoy writing it now. So I think that's
Good.
probably been the biggest shift on perspective I've had.
That is a huge shift. I love that because yeah, I feel like dialogue's usually generally the hardest thing for somebody starting off writing to get, because there's so many parts that go into it, right? You want it to flow nicely, um, and you also want it to feel distinct. Like you want each character to sound different, and so that someone could read it, and even if you didn't say blank blank and blank said, they can be like, oh, that's whoever, because I can tell by the way they talk. It's hard to get all that right and figure all that out, and I'm sure it's can be frustrating at first. So that's awesome that you enjoy it now, and that it's going well. So I think that's really cool. That's a good sign.
Thank you. Yeah. It's definitely character voice is still a trickier part of really like differentiating them because if I'm not careful, I'm like, oh, y'all are starting to sound the same. I got to go back and fix that.
Right.
But it can be fun whenever I like a lot of like back and forth and banter in the books that I write. And so
Yeah.
it's fun to get that back and forth. You kind of hit that flow state and it's like, oh, this is really going. But there are still times when it's like, oh my gosh, y'all are being really difficult for this conversation.
Oh man, I bet. I bet. I'm sure that's always a thing for sure. Now that you've written so many books and you have so many different characters too, how do you keep track of and you have 3 books in a world now. So how do you keep track of what's happened, uh, different characters and their personalities and like interactions and twists and turns, so that you don't like uh write something that causes a continuity error or like throws something off, or is it just all in your head and you can remember it?
Excel spreadsheets, really,
Nice.
is how I get it. I Excel
Yep.
spreadsheet it, or I'll use there's a software called Obsidian that's really good for note taking, and I will have my little web maps and this happened at this date and this person was here, so they can't be here. And I would
That's
get very
brilliant.
detailed about it whenever I was first starting out. And so now I kind of have all that I can fall back on. Like, oh yeah, this person's supposed to be here at this date. They couldn't have been there. But
That's
some
awesome.
of it I can remember. Some of it I
Yeah.
can remember, but
Oh yeah.
most of it is in an Excel spreadsheet somewhere.
That's good. Well, that's a brilliant way to do it now, because as you just keep pumping out these awesome books, I mean, there's going to come a day where you've got, dozens of books, and you're going to have to be able to look at something and be like, wait, like hundreds of years ago in this world, or in this with this character, what happened here or there. So I think that's awesome. That's a really smart way to do it. And nowadays with technology, I'm always curious too. Do you, how do you back it up? Do you just have it like on your computer, but then also in the cloud, or like on a thumb drive, or how do you back stuff up, like just in case something were to happen, or do you only have it in one place?
I have my stuff in multiple places. I'll do like
Yeah.
the cloud and then a hard drive,
Oh, look, I
or I'll
love it.
email it from one email to another.
Oh
I'll
man.
email it to my friend and be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you just keep put this in a folder somewhere and don't delete it."
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. That gets another one of these.
I'm like, this is like I'm like, if I mess this up,
Oh yeah. Your whole
I don't know.
world. That's
Yeah.
smart. I didn't think about emailing it to people too, and then you have all these extra backups of people keeping things safe. That's pretty awesome. And then I guess if you email the file too, right? If you, even if it got deleted off your computer, if you
Hmm.
clicked on that file in the email, it should still pull it up, right? In theory.
Yeah, it has for me in the past. That's what's worked.
Nice. Ah, so you have so many layers of security. That probably helps you sleep at night.
Yeah, it's just I'm like those are just like my books are like my babies, and I'm like I
Yeah.
just have to know that I have it safe somewhere just in case because technology is very fickle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like,
That is very true. Very true. Um, now, how has we talked a little bit about your process with writing so much per day and all that stuff, but how has it gone, like physically writing book to book to book? Have you always used like a laptop? Have you ever used a phone? Do you switch up what you use? Have you upgraded like your laptop as you've been writing more and more books? How has like the physical act of writing gone? Has that changed at all?
I think I've stayed pretty consistent from the start. Like just I write on my laptop, and then just a plain old Word doc. I have switched. I started using a wireless keyboard, so I can
Oh,
put my computer like way up high, so I
yeah,
don't strain my neck of like
that's
hunched over the
smart.
keyboard all day.
Yeah.
So I did that, and that was a relief.
Oh
But
man, that's so smart.
so that's what I've done. But that's about it. Everything else I've kept just writing on the laptop, just because I don't know, something like cozy about it.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like I couldn't do it on something that small. I talked to an author once that they wrote a book, and it was a pretty chunky, big, thick book. And they said they wrote the whole thing on their phone because they just were never able to sit down at a computer. They either were, they had like a long period where they were having some illness, so they were like laying in bed and they wrote it on their phone or like busy. And I'm like, gosh, my hands would cramp up after a while, like I was like, dang, hey, but whatever works, whatever gets the book written. But I was
Yeah,
I was surprised. I feel like I need like a good full size keyboard, or I run into trouble.
yeah, that's me. I sometimes I'll write like I'll have a notes file, and if I'm like if I'm
Oh
out and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that would be a really
Right.
good scene.
Ideas are, yeah.
Sometimes I've written one or two scenes on my phone if I've
Hmm.
been like, this is really good. I have to get this
Yeah.
down now.
So I don't forget it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think I could do a whole book on the phone. I think that would just take forever to type with my nails because I have to type really slow.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think that would drive me crazy.
Yeah, that's true. That would cause some problems. I can get that. All right, cool. So, also, what about when you're writing kind of the environment around you? Are you somebody that likes it quiet? Do you like music? Can you just write in any environment? Like if there's noise with your family in the background or at a coffee shop or something like that? Or do you like to be secluded where it's quiet?
I used to write like just in like the hustle and bustle of life, and as I've continued writing, I've been like, no, I need to be by myself. I like my music or like ambient sounds,
Mhm.
ambiance. Typically music, I'll make like playlists that kind of get me in
Mhm.
like a writing mood or like the
Yeah.
mood of the story. And I do like doing that. But every now and again, I'm like, no, if it's a really important scene, I'm like, no music, nothing. I have to write this in complete silence and isolation to really focus on it.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, very nice. All right. Um, you mentioned earlier that you didn't mention this; it was in my head. But I was going to ask, going back to your books, uh, you write kind of in this in the genre that you write. What made you fall in love with that genre, and why was that like the one that you wanted to write most in? Were there some books or movies or games or things from when you were younger that really made you love that, or did the idea just come to you just kind of out of nowhere?
Um, I think sci-fi was definitely I didn't really read or watch very much sci-fi before I started writing, so it was a little bit like surprising, I guess, like out of the blue for me to choose that genre. But my dad was really into Star Wars and, so we watched those movies together whenever I was little, and I was like that would be really like I loved Star Wars, and so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, that would be really cool. So my dad really got and I was like, okay, I think a sci-fi book would be really cool. And then I love with those first books I was also reading a lot of fantasy, and so that's why I picked like a sci-fi fantasy
Mm-hmm.
for that. And then romance is my favorite genre to read, like my comfort genre to read, like
Mhm.
a good fantasy or sci-fi epic. But for if I just want like a cozy book,
Yeah.
a good cozy romance. So I kind of was like, okay, well, let me just mash all those together. And then the fantasy elements have kind of faded away as I've continued writing, and it's more just not hard sci-fi, it's more like just soft sci-fi romance. Because I'm never like too technical with it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's definitely more sci-fi than anything else. But yeah, so it was kind of just Star Wars, and then obviously Dune was a really big influence whenever I was writing Ash, because I loved that movie so
Mhm.
much. So that was an influence, and then I think those were my two like really big influences were Dune and Star Wars.
Oh, you can't go wrong with either one of those. Those are great ones.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's kind of my favorite sci-fi too. Like I love the technology and all that stuff, but hard sci-fi sometimes gets just too technical, too tough for me. When I start having to like stop reading to look stuff up constantly, like, wait, what does that mean? What's that word? What? How does this work?
yeah,
It takes me out of the story a little. So I do love the sci-fi fantasy. That combo is just good stuff. You can't beat it.
yeah.
Um, so that's
I do
awesome.
really enjoy it. I
Yeah.
really enjoy it, and then I do like I have comboed it more now that I think about it. Like my newer books, I have also done a lot more of like an action movie type feel.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
I did for The Keeper, I did get some inspiration from like the Jason Bourne movies with like
Oh,
the spy
nice.
and that sort of thing. Like that was
Oh,
really
that's
those I
cool.
love those movies too. And so I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
well, I love the idea, and so the character definitely was an inspiration, kind of a loose inspiration for some of the characters in The Keeper as well.
Ah, nice. Yeah, I do love that too. The intrigue and the twists and turns, and yeah, I do love that. So that's pretty exciting. Now, what's next? What are you working on next? Are you have you decided what you want to do next? Are you already fully into it? What's coming up next for Grace Walker?
I have some ideas. I
Okay,
have some I would say like idea for a trilogy, and then I've had a more recent kind of uh maybe standalone idea that's like set in the same world but a very different time period. I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus to kind of
good for you.
just recharge
Yeah,
because rewriting uh The Keeper was definitely a
yeah.
lot on me.
It's like
So
writing two books you did almost.
yeah, pretty much. So with that, I'm definitely taking a little bit of a break just to recharge my creative energy, but I do plan on working on more books set in this world. I love writing in this world, so I have multiple projects planned in it cuz since it's sci-fi and there's such like a wide genre, I can write 10 different books in this world and have all of them be in a different time zone and write a completely different
Oh,
story. So
yeah.
that's really yeah, just something else in this world and connected to these characters. I loved writing Ziara from Ash, and I would love to do something with a project with her in the future because
Oh,
she was such
nice.
a fun character.
That would be awesome. You should. Um, let's see. We got a couple of cool comments I wanted to show you here. So first, Tame Your List said the first line of the keeper got them hooked. That is a good first line.
You know?
Very nicely done. And then wanted to know what inspired Romy and Kieran's characters.
Ooh, hmm. Well, like I said, Kieran definitely had some Jason Bourne inspiration of just like the kind of spy, invisible, um, like no identity. That was really cool to me, and so I definitely included a lot of inspo for him. I also did some. I took some inspiration from Bucky Barnes from the Marvel
Oh, nice.
universe. Um, just kind of that like just general mysterious spy archetype was definitely where I got most of my inspiration from for him. And then for Romy, I actually took a lot of inspiration from Kaz Brecker from Six of Crows because I just, again, that book was one of my all time favorites, loved the characters. And I was like, okay, like this would be something really fun to just inspire a character. So, yeah. And then I also just lean more into just like the general spy concept, like spy, undercover, underworld syndicate leader. And so the combo of that and then Kaz Brecker really built Romy.
Nice. Okay, very cool. I do I need to read Ash 2.0 and then The Keeper, of course, but I think that you do characters really well. I think that your characters are. I mean, the world is cool. The idea, the story, everything's awesome. But I'm a character reader, and like I loved your characters, so I think you're very good at that. So I'm excited to see if I thought your characters in Ash were already that good. I'm excited to see how they've gotten even better as time has gone on, and you've continued to grow as a writer because you knocked Ash out of the park. So I gotta get on my game here and get caught up. Um,
Well, thank you.
you're
I'm a
welcome.
character reader too, so I'm
I
definitely
thought
like
so.
characters definitely drive my story. The characters build the plot more than the plot building the characters in my
Yeah,
case. 'Cause I
yeah,
love a good character driven story.
I agree. I agree. And if you're no matter what the story's doing, if people care about your characters, they're along for the ride, right? So then it doesn't
Mhm.
matter.
Yeah,
All right, so I don't know how you feel about this. I just had an idea pop in my head, but since Tame Your Task List talked about the first line, and I see the keeper behind you there, would you be willing to read out loud the first line of the keeper?
I would love to.
Sweet. All right, everybody, settle in. Here we go, straight from the author herself.
It's a pretty short one. This is probably one of my favorite first lines that I've
That is
written.
pretty awesome.
But the first line of the keeper is, "It was a strange feeling playing cards with a dead man."
Oh, it's so good. Like, who doesn't want to just go get that right now? And that was my thought. Go get it right now. It's in the description down below. But come on, that's awesome. Now, tell us how you thought of that. Did you have to go back and do that first line later, or was that like the first thing you actually wrote that you thought of?
It came. It was an early thing, but it did come after I started writing the scene. I with Ash, the first lines of that book were the first thing that came to me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this scene with these lines, that's a
Yeah.
book." Like that started with this one. I debated the first scene a lot because I wanted something that sort of I love my first scenes to serve as metaphors for the rest of
Hmm.
the story or mirrors for the rest of the
Ooh, okay.
story. So I was like, okay, how can I create like a metaphor for this? And so I was thinking about it, I was debating, and I wrote probably three different versions of it. And then I was like, okay, I finally honed it in. I was like, okay, I want to do this version. And then I was like, what's a good, like, what line would really like encapsulate the kind of mystery and intrigue that I'm going for with this story? And that one just it kind of just came to me, and I was like, oh, that's like I was like, okay, that's it. I'm whipping out my computer. I'm like, okay, we're sitting down and typing this out now.
That
That
was
was
good.
that was it.
That's awesome. And Camille agrees. She says, "Girl, that intro is so good."
Thank you.
It is. It is excellent. And I was gonna say, yeah, I remember the same thing with Ash. I just started reading it, and the first couple lines just hooked me and pulled me in. I'm like, "Dang, Grace, all right." So
Thank you.
I think you're very good at that. So keep that up with all your books because that's a brilliant way to get somebody hooked. Because I'm surprised that every author doesn't do that. I mean, not everybody can be as good at it as you obviously are, but sometimes you pick up a book and the first it's like back in the day, it's like uh, I don't know, just randomly starting the book, like just kind of slow and like you're just like, I'm sure the book will still be good, but when you read a line like that, it's like, oh yeah, here we go.
Thank you. That really was on the forefront of my mind every time I write an intro. As I'm always like, okay, like what's the absolute latest point this story can start while still getting all the essential information in? Like how
Hmm.
far can I get? And so I was like, okay, I always want to have an exciting intro because there are a lot of books that I've read where the
Hmm.
intro was like the first like three chapters were kind of just like
Yeah, just setting
information,
things up. Yeah,
setting it up, and
yeah,
that's completely a style. But I
right.
really love just stories that immediately start. Those are
Yeah.
always the ones that capture my
Oh
attention
yeah.
and tend to be my favorite. And so I'm like, okay, I want to make sure that's like an essential. Like if you're reading a Grace Walker book, you know it's gonna
Yeah.
start right away. Like
Yep.
that's gonna be my trademark.
That's good. That's how they should all be. And I feel like you're good at showing the reader what's happening and what's going on and what has happened and not just telling. Like you do it through story. And I love that. So you have at a very young age figured out a lot of things already as an author that I just find impressive, my friend. So
Well,
well done again. All right, let's see. So 40 minutes already. We're rolling along here. That's crazy. It always
yeah,
goes quick when I get to chat with you.
it really.
Um, all right, so I want to talk about what you mentioned with a lot of the cool ideas you have. But first, I want to go back to the romance part because you said that you love to read romance. So, what would you say when you say a cozy read like I'm gonna say this right here. I've said it before to some people, and I get flack for it, but I know you won't give me flack. But I have always been a huge fan, and I think a lot of guys are, but they pretend that they're not. I love rom coms. Always have. Always have.
Yep.
So I love the books. That's why when we talked about dual POV, I feel like a good, fun romance book that has dual POVs reminds
Hmm.
me sometimes of like a rom com movie, and I just eat that stuff up. So
Oh yeah.
what's your favorite kind of romance books? Does it is it more like on the humoristic side where it feels more like a rom com, or do you like ones that are a little more dramatic or suspenseful? What's like your favorite kind of romance book to read?
I definitely love the like rom-commy,
Mm-hmm.
like lighthearted,
Yep.
like something you would read it on a beach. Like
Yeah.
those are my favorite.
Yep.
I
Very
have I
cool.
read a lot more. I have read a lot of like historical romances that
Oh
are
yeah, those are yeah.
like rom-com
Right.
historical romances that are not
Those
historically
yeah.
accurate, but they're
Mhm.
fun, and I do
Yeah.
really like this.
Those are fun too. That's a good point. Now, do you think that you would ever write like a straight romance novel? Like maybe you would do it under a pen name or something so that the people that don't like that and like sci-fi fantasy are like, "Wait, what? What is this?" Do you think you would ever do that or do you just want to read those?
I don't think I would write a rom-com. I think I really love writing action,
Mhm.
and whenever there's not a lot of action, like the more slow
Oh
scenes,
yeah.
whenever I'm writing them, those are the ones I always have the hardest time with.
Yeah.
Like The Keeper was definitely the most romance-centric book I've written, and it's
Mhm.
still like more of a subplot.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like and but that I was still kind of struggling with where I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
kind of like, oh my gosh, it takes a lot of mental effort for some reason." So I don't think I would ever write a full rom-com, but
mhm.
I have thought about writing more of like a full, like a very romance heavy sci-fi or like
Yeah.
a romance action. I would be interested in writing like
Yeah.
an action book with like a really heavy romance, like a dual action
I think that would be
romance.
really interesting. That's not
But
something you see very often. I
mhm,
feel like it always goes either towards the lighter side, like we talked about, or the really heavy romance, spicy side, where you lose some of the story. Like it'd be
yeah.
pretty interesting to find one that was in a good balance like that, where you still had action and good story and plot, but a pretty heavy romance too. I think you should try that eventually. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. I do. I think it would be really fun, honestly, because I love reading a lot of these like cool, like actiony novels.
Mm-hmm.
But I do occasionally, I'm like, this would be really good if it had a romance in it, because
Right.
I'm a romance girl at heart. I love romance books. I love rom
Yeah.
coms. Like I just really enjoy it. That and
Yeah.
sci-fi, and those are my two things. Is
Oh yeah.
sci-fi. There's three things: romance, sci-fi, and action movies. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, I just need to start
Yeah, put them
comboing those.
together. Yes. Well, and I feel like something that people probably don't always think about with romance, but I think that it grounds a story, especially an action story, because if you have an action hero just going off doing all these action hero-y things and there's no romance, like you throw a romance in there and all of a sudden they have something to lose. They have
Mhm.
stuff to think about. It makes them more relatable and more human. I feel like it's an important part of an action story. But you're right, you don't see them a lot. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it's definitely something I see not super often, and I would love
Mm-mm.
to see more of. I think it's really fun, and it does. it adds complication to the story, which
Hmm.
complication is always good for plot.
Yep,
Like that
yep,
that gives you
100%.
more
Yep,
plot. But yeah, it's just kind of, it does ground the story, I
yeah.
think, and it's just not something I see very often.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like the way you see it used most in action is as a reason for the hero of the story to be going on this quest or this
Hmm.
revenge tour. Like something bad happens to their romantic partner, and then they go off on this thing. But it's
Yeah.
never like ingrained in the story where it's like I've always thought that about a lot of things like action or superhero stuff, any of that kind of stuff, like you give the character also a significant other or a family or and it just totally changes the story as opposed
Oh
to just a lone wolf, going out there and doing stuff. So I think you're
yeah.
onto something.
Yeah.
Keep thinking that way. I like it. um well, very cool. So when you take this break like you're going to take, which I think is brilliant also, I think that's a very smart thing to do because I think sometimes people try to just dive quick into the next book and keep going, and I think that can burn you out real quick.
Hmm.
So what do you normally like to do when you're in these fit? Because I feel like the last time we talked, you had talked about doing that too. So I feel like you've been doing that after every book. Do you completely stay away from writing, but you still read, or do you even take some time and just like watch movies and TV or do other things and not even have anything to do with books?
Before, whenever I've taken breaks, I have been like plotting other projects and
Okay.
working on them. So it's been like a break, but not entirely a
Right,
break.
right. Yeah.
This time I'm actually taking a break because I definitely got close to burnout with finishing
Hmm.
this book. So I was like, yeah, I really need to take a real break this time. So I'm reading a lot. I'm reading a lot. I am watching movies, cooking, just,
Ooh.
like just hanging out, doing social stuff, school and everything. So I'm moving into all of that with this break to really focus on some other stuff. And then eventually I'll get back into more of like plotting for this next, for all these different project ideas and then pick which one I want to work on next.
Very nice. I love it. That's smart. Smart way to do it. Um, so what is at 19, like what is your like current thing that you're doing? Like, do you have a day job? Are you going to taking classes? Like, what's your big thing right now that you've got going on?
Right now, I do have a graphic design and book design business that I am still working on. So that takes up most of my work time right now. So yeah, that's been like a big focus for me. I think recently,
That's
it's been
good
like that's
because you've
mostly
been
what I'm
doing
doing.
that. You've been doing that for a while, so that's good that
Yeah,
that's still that you've got the writing and you've got that. So that's pretty awesome.
yeah,
Good stuff.
I really enjoy
And that
both.
Yeah, and the nice thing too is that you can do that from home and remotely, so you
Hmm.
don't have to worry about always having to go somewhere every day and commutes and all that kind of stuff cutting
Yeah.
into your writing energy when you are trying to write. So that's
Yep.
good. Very nice. All right. Well, so we're getting into the last leg here. Now, I think I can't remember the first time you were on. I think I might have asked some questions at the end, but I like to ask questions at the end for us to get to know you outside of writing. Just your favorite this or that, nothing crazy or anything. So some of these might be repeats, but just in case, again, that this is the first time anyone has met you by finding this interview, I just have a few questions for you. First one is easy peasy. What is your favorite color?
Purple,
Purple.
lavender
Nice.
purple.
Ooh, okay. I noticed there's always a little bit of that in your book covers so far.
Yep.
But that's also kind of a sci-fi
Hmm.
cyberpunk color too. So it
Yep.
worked out well.
Yep.
Uh,
That and the teal. I always have the teal too, and I
oh
do really
yeah,
like that.
they go really good together. Now, has it always been that like lavender purple, even since you were younger, or
Yeah, I've been pretty consistent with that one. I have lots of I think I have lots of little girl clothes that are all in that different shades of purple.
yeah? So there's just always your jam. Nice. Okay.
Yep.
What is your favorite food? What do you like to eat when you get to choose like where you're gonna go? Do you go out somewhere to eat? Do you eat in? You talked about cooking, so you probably cook a lot of stuff. What's your favorite food?
That's really hard because I love food and I love cooking. Um, I do really love Italian food, like
Mm,
pasta. You can't go wrong. Like
oh yeah, can't go wrong.
a good marinara. I love that. And yeah, that's probably my favorite, but I also do love a classic hamburger.
Mm.
That's also really good.
Man, yep, those are both very good choices. Very nice. All right. What is now? We know that you do the graphic design thing. You're very good at writing. You talked about cooking. So, I mean, that's already three really good things. But what's another talent or a hobby that you have that we don't know about?
Hmm. I say I
Don't.
do. I love for hobbying. I do love reading, but that's probably pretty common knowledge at this point.
No, that's still good though.
I do draw a little bit just for
Mhm.
fun, like just art,
Nice.
painting, drawing,
That's
and
good.
I used to do a lot of jewelry making. So
Oh,
that's
okay. That's a different one. That's pretty cool. Like what how would you make the jewelry? Did you get like kits and stuff or like what kind of jewelry did you make?
I did a lot of like wire stuff. I
Wow,
did a lot of
okay.
like wire wrap around like bracelets and rings and things like that.
Nice.
And then I was younger, I did a lot of like like braided like friendship
Yeah.
bracelets and stuff like that.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay. Nice. Um all right. Let's see. The next question I already know. I was gonna say what was your first job, but we already know that what your job is. So and then sometimes I ask what was your first car, but that's to come very soon in the near future. So
Yeah,
do you have any ideas what you want your first car to be? Or do you not care yet? Just
I love Jeeps.
nice. You can't go wrong with that. Do you have a
Yep.
certain do they make a lavender purple Jeep?
I don't, I have never actually seen one, but I
Me
think I would
neither.
just get a black Jeep because that's my second favorite.
Oh, nice. Now, do you know the thing? There's a couple things about Jeeps because I have some friends that are Jeep owners, and I never knew these until I started seeing this around, and then I asked them. But there's a thing with rubber ducks and Jeeps where you got to get all the ducks along the front, right? So you got to be
Mhm.
prepared for that. And then I
Yes.
guess there's like this unspoken wave that Jeep owners do when they see each other out and about. So there's just be ready to wave if you see another
Okay.
Jeep driver. I guess you're always
I've
supposed to wave to each other.
okay. I've heard of the ducks. I have seen the
Yeah,
ducks,
yeah,
and that's
yeah,
very cute. I have not
yeah,
heard of a wave, so I'll have to be prepared for that.
yeah. Be ready, be ready. But maybe let them wave first because I might be wrong or my friend might be wrong. You don't want to go to wave and they're just like, what the?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's
they
really
said that every time they see somebody, they wave to them. They wave back because it's like a Jeep thing. So
yeah.
So yeah, and it's funny because the first time I saw somebody with like 50 rubber ducks across the front, I'm like, what in the world? And then I saw another Jeep, similar color, somewhere else in a different state. I'm like, is this the same person? But no, it's because it's a Jeep thing. I didn't realize it. So there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right, a couple more questions, and then we'll circle back to Camille's question here. We'll go back to writing at the end.
Okay.
You talked about watching movies. What are some of your favorite movies? Obviously, Star Wars and Dune, but what are some of your favorite movies overall? It doesn't even have to be sci-fi or fantasy or anything.
Um, I love Dune Part 2, and then I do love Star Wars. I love Revenge of the Sith and the
Yeah,
first
that's my
3. Like
favorite too.
the original 3. I love
Yep,
those.
yep, yep.
I love the Jason Bourne movies. Those
Hmm.
are really fun. Um, The Princess Bride was one
Ah,
that I loved whenever I
yes,
was little.
classic.
And
Me too.
I still really enjoy that one.
Hmm.
And I really liked the solo Star Wars movie, the Han Solo
Oh yeah,
movie. I really
yes.
enjoyed that one. I know it got a
Me
lot of hate,
too.
but I really
I
liked it.
agree. I thought it was pretty good. I thought I liked it, but yeah, a lot of people don't like that one. But I
Yeah.
liked it too. I thought it was good. And I thought
Yeah.
he did pretty decent. I mean, that's some big shoes to step into.
Oh yeah.
And I thought he did a good job. But
Yeah. It was
what
very
do
fun.
we
It was
know?
a fun movie, I
Yeah,
think.
I think so too. Star Wars fans, that can be a rabid fan group. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But I thought it was good. I'm with you. I liked it too.
Yeah.
Um, all right, nice. What about video games? Have you ever been a gamer?
Not really. I really haven't. I like watching them, but I
Okay.
really don't play very much myself. Unless I mean, I play Minecraft, but that's
Oh,
like
well,
it.
that counts. That's good. My kids all love Minecraft. Are you pretty good at it?
No, I play for. I'm the sort of person that go and I build a little cottage and I build a little farm beside the cottage, and
Nice.
that's it.
And
And
that's
then
it.
I get
You're
a new
good.
world and I go do the exact same thing. So,
I love it. I love it. Very nice. All right. You should try to build the world from your books in Minecraft. That would be
that would be
cool.
really fun.
It'd probably be
That would be
really
really
hard, but it would be cool.
yeah. I should do that sometime. That would be really fun.
Yeah. All right, let's bring it back to books before I ask you Camille's questions. What's the last book that you read on your own? I don't know why I said on your own, but you know what I mean.
The last book I actually read was I read The Housemaid, and that was
Oh,
really
getting ready for the movie. Wanted to read the book first.
Yep, I wanted to read the book first because I really don't. I usually don't read thrillers because I'm a little squeamish, and so I don't
Yeah.
read thrillers very much. But I was
Uh,
like, okay, let me try it, and I was surprised. It was really
I
good. I
know.
really
I want to
enjoyed
read it. I've heard it's good. My wife loves those books,
it.
so I really want to read it, but I haven't yet.
Yeah,
I was gonna read it, but then she loaned them to her friend, and it's one of those friends that you loan them something and you never see it again. So we'll see. I might have to get it from the library, but
yeah,
yeah, I'm excited for that movie. It looks good, and yeah, I've heard really good things about the book. So
yeah. It
there
was
you go.
good.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to the movie because it was
Yeah.
good. It wasn't super long either, but it was good. They had it on Kindle Unlimited, I think. So I was like, oh, let me
Oh,
just
well,
check.
shoot! I'll get it on there then. That's even
Yeah.
better. Very nice. Okay. I just thought of something and it went out of my head. Hold on. Okay, I remember now. You mentioned wanting to read it before the movie. Now, I am someone, I always like to read a book before a movie because I think it's fun to read a book without like anything really in your head. And then you go and see the
Mhm.
movie and you compare how the characters look, how things go, what they change. But I have a hard time, and I don't know, maybe no one else I've talked to is the same way, but I have a hard time if I watch a movie and it's based on a book, I can't read the book because I already like know what's going to happen. I picture those actors. So I just don't do it. So if there's like a movie coming out or a show and I'm excited about it and I find out it's based on a book, I got to read that book before because if I don't, I'm never reading the book. I don't know about you. Do you have that problem at all?
Um, it kind of depends. I have most of the time I try and make a point of reading the book before
Hmm.
the movie or the show as well,
Yeah.
just because otherwise the movie will influence how I read the book.
Yeah.
I try
Yeah.
and do whatever was original first. I'm
Yeah.
like, let me
Oh
get
yeah.
the
Yeah.
original
That's
source.
true. Yep.
Um, but I have there have been a couple of so this one obviously like I read the book first because I was like, well, the movie looks cool, so I'll read the book.
Yeah.
Um, with Dune, I watched the movie and then I read the book, and
Hmm.
it definitely did interfere with how I read the book though, because I was like,
Yeah.
wait, like this is way longer. There's so much more stuff in this. Like,
I
hold on,
know.
because that audiobook was 18 hours,
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah.
that was long for me. I
I
was like, oh
know.
my gosh.
I know it's like both the movies together is kind of like the first book, but it still doesn't even touch on everything that was in the book. So
Yeah.
for sure, I know
So
I only have ever read the first book, and now that I've watched the movies, I really liked them too. I kind of want to read the other books, but I don't know if I will or not. But they're not as long as the first book. The next
yeah,
two.
I'm doing the audiobook. I can't read them. I have to listen to the audiobook.
Yeah.
I'm listening to the audiobook for Messiah right now, and it's
Oh,
only
nice.
8 hours long,
Yeah, that's pretty. It's a pretty small book. Yeah, I think I.
which is much more
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. 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 Not like some of those crazy, like some of the Stormlight Archive audiobooks or whatever that are just insane amount of hours. Like, my gosh, this is gonna take me my whole life to listen to this.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know. That's how I felt with Dune. I was like sitting down. I was like,
that's a
"Oh,
good
let me
one.
just listen to a chapter." And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to that chapter 30 minutes later and I'm like,
Yeah, his chapters are not short and snappy. No,
"No." I was like, "I did not realize it was that much of a commitment.
right?
I thought I was going to read like a 10-minute chapter, but no. The one before was 10 minutes, but this one's 45." It's
Oh
like,
gosh, that's too much. That's too much.
yeah.
It is. Now, what speed do you listen to when you do audiobooks?
Um, I
Do
don't
you just
listen to
keep
a
it?
lot of audiobooks, but I usually do like a 1.3,
Okay.
1.5 if it's really
Yeah.
slow.
Yep. That's about what I do. I usually do about a 1.5. I don't either. A lot of times I do it with longer books like that because then I can listen while I'm driving or listen while I'm
Mhm.
doing other stuff. Because I have a hard time too if it's a big long book with really long chapters. Just sitting down and reading it sometimes can get tough. So
Yeah.
I'm with you, but I can't I have a hard time sitting and listening to an audiobook. I
Yeah.
get it's too distracted and I need to listen to it over and over again. Whereas if
Yep.
I'm busy doing stuff, I can focus on it because it's
Mhm.
just, that's how I like to do audiobooks.
Yep.
Uh
Me too.
nice. All right. Okay, so let's go back to Camille's question here. She said two questions. What was your favorite scene to write and which POV was your favorite?
Ooh, that's a really hard one. I had a lot of favorite scenes.
That's good.
I really liked chapter. I don't remember the number. It was chapter titled Roses.
Okay.
That was really fun. That was a really fun chapter to write.
Roses. Remember that, everybody, when you get to it. That was her favorite.
And then I think I'm gonna have to actually look now because I don't remember all the chapter names. I
Yeah.
named them all and then I don't remember them. Um, oh, there was one. Wrath's Daughter was another one of my
Hmm.
favorites. I really liked that one.
Oh man,
Those
I like the names of your chapters too.
Thank you. I love naming chapters. I was influenced heavily by Percy Jackson being my favorite series when I
Mm,
was 12, and so I'm like,
nice.
I got to name all these chapters.
Oh yeah. I know I always like when someone's clever with them. I just think that's fun. Uh
Mhm.
there's one book series which if you like Jason Bourne movies and stuff, if you ever want to
Mhm.
read books like that, the Orphan X books, you should
Oh,
check those out. They're really good. But
okay, I
but his
will.
chapters his chapters are cool because the title of the chapter is like a short little saying, and it's somewhere in the chapter. So it's always fun to
Oh,
kind of try to find where it's at. They like have something to do with the whole chapter, but it's actually in the chapter too.
mhm.
But those are really good books. I love that series.
Yeah. I
Um,
like doing that sometimes. Like sometimes the chapter names are metaphorical, and then sometimes it's
yeah,
like a quote or something that'll happen.
yeah,
It'll
yeah,
depend
yeah.
on
That's
the
cool. I
chapter.
like that mix. Very cool. Uh, did you say which POV was your favorite?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay.
It's hard. I love both of them. I think I really liked getting into Kieran's POV.
Mm,
Like that was just really fun. I really liked writing him as a character because he had so much just like mental and like moral weighing and like debating, I guess. That was really fun to write. Romy was more centered, like she has a comment, like it's a steadfast goal throughout
yeah.
the book, and then Kieran has a lot more turmoil, and so I enjoyed writing that.
Nice. Okay. I like it. Great question, Camille. All right. Last question, and then we'll wrap up. What would be Grace Walker's advice to aspiring or new authors? What would you tell them?
Mm.
I'm putting you on the spot. I don't. I like to ask on the spot because I just feel like it always brings out some interesting questions. But I probably should have asked you ahead of time.
No, 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 that's good. I think the advice that helped me at least the most whenever I was starting to write was it's that old saying of you can edit a bad page but you can't edit a blank page. So
Oh,
it's
I
like
like that.
just write it. Like just write it messy and not in the way you planned it originally because you
Mhm.
will get there. Everything I've ever written, I've written not it's not exactly the way I intended it, and then I can get it there though. So I'd
Yeah,
say like just write the book because if you wait and think about it and oh well I'm not good enough, I'll get better later and I'll write it later when I'm better. You'll only get better if you actually write.
I love it. It's good. That's good advice. El Montague just is got in here. What's up, El? Thanks for being here. Get involved in the community. That's good
Mhm.
advice. And then he agrees with you. Just finish the dang book.
Yep,
Just get
that's it.
get it done, and then you can edit it and fix it up later, right?
Yep,
I like that though. Yeah, you can't edit a blank page. That's very true. Very nice. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on again. This has been a blast, just like the first time, and I look forward to you coming on every time you have another book come out. But for now, I'm glad that you're relaxing and recharging and enjoying life, and not putting too much stress on yourself. And now you get to watch another book baby go out into the world and take off. So that's exciting stuff. So before I go into my ending spiel with everybody, I want to give you the floor to shout out your books or whatever you want to again before we go.
Yeah, I am only on Twitter right now, so you can always connect with me on Twitter. And yeah, I have Ash and Ash 2.0 is a completed duology for those that love sci-fi action adventure with a side of romance. And The Keeper is a standalone for anyone who likes sci-fi romance with a mafia suspense action edge. And yeah,
Love it.
and I would like to also just say thank you so much to my incredible beta readers and my ARC readers and my parents for being amazing. So thank you to all of you because this book would not exist without all of those people.
You have an awesome support system, which is fantastic. I think that's uh, an important part of any author's journey is making sure you
Mm-hmm.
surround yourself with people that want to see you go after that dream and support that dream, and want to see you get there. That makes a world of difference. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that you have that for you because
Thank you.
that's huge.
Thank you.
You're
And thank you
welcome.
so much for having me. I've had so much
Of
fun.
course. Always, always. You're always welcome here. Anytime. Anytime you have a book come out or any other time you have anything you want to come on for, I'd love to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you again.
Um, you're welcome. So everybody in the live chat, thank you guys. You guys were awesome as always. Oh, Brian Soul just popped in here. What's up, man? Great interview. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody in the live chat. You guys were awesome. Thank you, everybody. If you're watching on replay, we appreciate it. You were also awesome. Be sure to check the description. Again, I've got Grace's website and her books all linked in there. And if you joined us late, go back and watch it because it was an awesome, fun interview. And Grace read aloud the opening line of her new book. And if you hear that and don't want to go buy her book right away, you got to get your ears checked or something. So thank you all for your support. Thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Thank you, Tame, your task list. It was an awesome interview, and you made it awesome also by being in here with some great questions. We had a great live chat today. So everybody, have a great rest of your night. I'll see you again later this week. Keep an eye on the channel. I've got some more authors on to end the week. But for now, I'll see you in the next video. And until I do, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly.